Hey everybody, Coach Abby back with a Trainer Tip Thursday. Today we're going to be talking about our push-up progression. Reason being is push-ups are one of the foundations for fitness programs, and oftentimes it's really hard to just jump right into a full push-up. So we're going to take you through a progression today that gives you a list of steps that you can practice at home to be able to build the strength for those push-ups appropriately. Couple things that are really important for push-ups. One, our hand position. Thumbs are gonna be right outside of our nipples, just a little bit wider than that, okay? We're gonna make sure that we're squeezing our chest right into here, up into this armpit area at the top, and we're gonna be squeezing our shoulder blades or our scapulas right at the bottom, nice and tight here, okay? So, other things that we're going to talk about are a neutral spine, engaged core, and how can we go from a high push-up all the way to a low push-up, and we want to go for 10 to 15 reps to get on to the next progression. All right, guys, so before we get into our push-up progressions and how we can work from top to bottom, we have to talk about that neutral spine and a good tight core. So when I say neutral spine, that's all the way from the top of your head all the way down to your tailbone, okay? That makes up in the entirety of our spinal cord. So with that, we're gonna go ahead and show you some cat-camel exercises, all right? So we can go here, lowering our back, raising our head, all right? We can raise the back, lower our head, okay? Both of those have pretty large curves. And what we wanna do is we wanna take out the curve, okay? Nice flat back here would mean not this. Instead, I'm gonna tuck my hips and pull my ribs towards my hips so that I can have a nice spine. This is the position you wanna think about no matter which progression for your push-up you're in, because this allows us to maintain a really good core as we lower and raise instead of dropping those hips or raising that butt up in the air. From a side position, all right, arched back, moved forward, arched back here. We wanna go ahead and tilt those hips. So it's gonna be a movement down and forward, and my ribs are gonna pull down to my hips. So again, neutral spine from head to tailbone with a little bit of a hip tuck. All right, everybody, progression number one for getting better with our push-ups is gonna be a wall push-up, all right? This can be done on any wall as long as there's a flat surface and you're not around anything that is gonna potentially injure you. So from here, we wanna make sure our thumbs are right outside of our nipples, a little bit wider than that, okay? We're gonna go up on our toes here. So I'm starting here. I can walk my toes back, arms are extended. I'm gonna push up, and I'm gonna lower so that my nose touches the wall and back. Nose touching the wall and back. Really important here, I'm not arching and I'm not rounded, okay? We wanna keep that spine nice and neutral, a little bit of a hip tilt, all right? Pulling those ribs down, keeping my core straight, nice and neutral from my head all the way to my tailbone, all right? Up on my toes, in, nose touch, and out. All right, so after we can do 10 to 15 of these, we're gonna progress onto a lower platform. All right, guys, progression number two is gonna be from the countertop, or if you're at a gym, we can use a higher box. We may be able to use a barbell, just depending on what kind of equipment is there. Either way, we're at a little bit lower position than we would be from the wall in progression one. Progression three is gonna be a little bit lower than this. So here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna make sure that, again, we've got that spine neutral. So we're gonna tuck, ribs are pulled down, tailbone is under, nice all the way up to the top of my head. I'm gonna be here, up on my toes, and I'm gonna work on pushing forward with my chest and up. A squeeze with my chest at the top, a squeeze with my shoulder blades at the bottom, and go. I am up on my toes for some extra weight here, all right? Putting more of that strength into my arms. So that's progression two. All right, you guys, progression number three. These next couple can be done with a armchair, an ottoman, maybe a coffee table, but also if you're at the gym, a box, okay? So instead now we are gonna lower, okay, our point of contact with our chest. What's really important here is that we have our hands right by our shoulders here, an extension of my shoulder, all right? I'm up on my toes, and now I wanna go ahead and I wanna lower with my chest to that point where I'm touching and driving up. So chest down and up. My head, same thing, neutral spine. My hips are tucked in so that I've got a tight core. And one more time, I'm gonna lower here and push up, all right? Again, we're squeezing at the top with our chest, right in here, and at the bottom, we're gonna feel that pinch of our scapulas. All right, progression number 4, we're working our way from up top to the bottom, and so now we are gonna be doing a decline or knees up push-up. So careful getting down here, all right? What's really important is that we make sure our hands are right underneath our shoulders, okay? So I'm gonna kick that leg up. I wanna make sure that my spine is neutral, all right? So I'm gonna start with this flat back, tight core, okay? My hands are pretty good under my spine. I'm here, I'm gonna lower just about my nose to the ground and up, okay? Squeezing that chest at the top, squeezing scapulas at the bottom, pushing up and down, nice and tight, all right? We wanna try and avoid having our hands super far in front and doing this, all right? We wanna keep those hands, again, right below our shoulder blades. That's where we're most stable, down and up. Just adding a little more resistance from 3, but that was progression number 4. All right, guys, for progression number 5, we're going to be doing an eccentric, or also known as a ground push-up. So a couple things for this one. We wanna make sure that we are only really focused on going down, all right? We're not really pushing away from the ground. We're just building those muscles in that range of motion, under tension that whole time on the way down. We're keeping a tight core, and our hands are under our shoulders the entire time instead of up above us, which I'll show you here in just a second. Our head is neutral, our spine is tucked, tight core, and we wanna make sure that our chest is the first thing that touches the ground, all right? We're gonna lower for 5 seconds. So to start, again, I'm gonna check my positioning of my hands. My thumbs are next to my nipples, just a little bit wider. From there, I know that my hands are in the right spot, so I'm gonna push up onto that high plank position, all right? Tucking that core, nice long spine, and I'm gonna go 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, chest down first, relax. You can get up any way you want. You can roll and sit, all right? Just make sure that every time you start, your hands are in that position right under your shoulders, and those hands are wider than your chest as an extension, thumbs in that area of the nipple. Okay, so again, we're here. I'm in my good spot, high plank, tight core, nice neutral spine. I'm gonna lower 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Chest comes down first, and then I'm back up, all right? Again, we're really working on squeezing the scaps as we're getting lower. That chest is staying nice and tight, okay? Control here, quality and control. All right, everybody, our 6th progression here is a modified push-up, also known as a push-up from the knees. So a couple things to note. We do want to continue to squeeze our chest at the top, our scapulas or our shoulder blades at the bottom, keeping that nice neutral spine. Those hips are going to be tucked in, rolled, squeezing that core. All right, and the last thing for this modified push-up is going to be that our toes are on the ground. You'll see here that I just grabbed some protein. This is going to be what I use to help measure my chest down from the ground. You could use a foam roller, you could use a cone. This was just the best thing that I had. So from here, I'm gonna first make sure that my hands are in the right spots. My thumbs right next to my nipple, hands just a little bit wider. From there, I'm gonna push up. I wanna find that position where I'm most comfortable in my neutral spine. My toes are gonna be on the ground and I'm keeping that core nice and tight. From here, I've got my measure, all right, and this is gonna be where my chest goes down to. So I'm gonna lower, chest down, squeeze my chest at the top here, and drive up. I'm gonna squeeze my scapulas together at the bottom and drive up, keeping a nice tight core, and my toes are on the ground. All right, so this was, again, progression number 6. We wanna go 10 to 15 reps before we move into number 7. So the 7th and final progression that we're gonna do is a full push-up. A couple things we wanna think about. First, quality is really important. So depending on what kind of exercise you're doing, if it's requiring you to go fast, we really want you to still focus on getting the full range of motion, and again, that quality rep over the speed, all right? Another thing is that we want the whole body to move together as one versus snaking up at the top with our chest or leading with our bottom. We want all of it to move together. At the top, you're gonna make sure that you're squeezing your chest, and at the bottom, we're gonna make sure we're squeezing our scapulas. So from here, we can start on the ground, all right? If you're unfamiliar with your position, again, thumbs are gonna be just outside, aligned with that chest. If you need a good note, you can go ahead and line those thumbs with your nipple and then move them a little bit wider. From here, neutral spine means head all the way to tailbone. So from here, I'm gonna push all the way up, lower, and all the way up again. Squeezing with my chest at the top and my scapulas at the bottom. A mark would be 10 to 15 good reps. That is what our goal would be once we finish this program.